Oh, yeah, it is game night, folks. Your boy Ace is super pumped. Your New Jersey Devils back at the Rock, hosting the Calgary Flames in what should be an absolutely beautiful exhibition of warfare. Oh, welcome back, Devils fans. It is your host, Ace, here on Running with the Devils, where we are talking New Jersey Devils hockey all year long. Please hit that subscribe button, smash the like, share with a friend. Thank you very much. Oh, and there's so much to get to. So much indeed. Jacob Markstrom returning to the net tonight, taking on his former club, the Calgary Flames, looking to get some payback for that game earlier in the season, the Western Canada road trip, late in a 0-0 game. Markey played so well in his return to Calgary. Two former Devils, Kevin Ball and Blake Holman, team up to get the game-winning goal with just under 5 minutes to go, giving the Devils a painful loss early in the season. Markey back in there. This is a big one for Jacob Markstrom, obviously looking to rebound from his struggles that he's been experiencing since coming back from missing time with that injury. Went down, twisted his knee in that Bruins game, missed 5 weeks. Subsequently has returned to action, has looked a little shaky, and we are hoping the injury is not lingering and that Markey is going to return to the Jacob Markstrom we saw in the months of December and January, where he was carrying the New Jersey Devils on his back. Almost carrying the team on his back. Today's pre-pregame show brought to you by Mrs. Fields, the power of the cookie, the official snack right now of this 24-25 New Jersey Devils. And wow, what a run they're going on. What a run for Mrs. Fields. If you haven't seen the video I released this morning detailing in depth the power of Mrs. Fields, check that video out. It's a must-see. I'm sure a lot of you have heard about it and didn't really know what was going on. I explain it all. I show clips. So check that out. Mrs. Fields bringing you the pregame show today, powering your New Jersey wow, tongue-tied there. Powering your New Jersey Devils to victories on home ice at the Rock. And check the link in the description to order your Mrs. Fields today. Stock up for the playoffs. But wow, guys, Markey back in net. The Devils needing 2 more points, as we've been needing for, every game is a very big one heading into the playoffs here. Devils currently sitting beautifully in that 3rd place in the Metro, with the New York Rangers 8 points back with, oh, wow, they played their game. Okay, so there's no more games in hand. Same games played by the Rangers with the 8-point cushion. And then we look at the Blue Jackets, who are 10 points behind with 2 games in hand. So even if they won both of their games in hand, we would still have a 6-point cushion on them. And yeah, we don't want to fall into the wild card. I mean, my God, Ottawa could finish with more points than us, potentially. Hopefully it doesn't happen. But as of right now, Ottawa is 3 points behind us with 2 games in hand. If they won their 2 games in hand, they would have a point lead on us. Want no part of slipping into that wild card bloodbath. Hopefully we hang on to that 3rd place in the Metro and await our showdown with the Carolina Hurricanes. I would absolutely love to get some sweet, sweet revenge on those Hurricanes. And what a matchup that would be. Still waiting, no confirmation. So Amanda Stein reported that in practice there's some game time decisions because there was a few guys, Palat, Tatar, Lazar, all missed practice. It was an optional morning skate. But I will tell you, if it wasn't clued in on, I am expecting and hoping the toughest man in the National, Curtis McDermott, to be in the lineup tonight. Now, I wanted to see him in the lineup for a lot of these games, but I definitely wanted him in the lineup for that game earlier in the season in Calgary, where some of you may recall that Nate Bastian took quite a beating at the hands of Lomborg, the Lamborghini. They got in a fight, and Ryan Lomborg just unleashed a barrage of punches on Nate Bastian, which subsequently broke his jaw, and he missed a ton of time. I don't think that ever would have happened if Curtis McDermott was in the game. I mean, let's be real. Curtis McDermott is the sheriff, and he's the toughest man in the National. I don't think that would have happened, but now, being that it did happen, we need our pound of flesh. This cannot be the same old New Jersey Devils from the past few seasons that were quite often broken and battered with no response. There must be a response tonight. And in, I guess they call it post-practice media availability yesterday, Amanda Stein talked to Paul Cotter about it, and he said something along the lines of, and I'm paraphrasing here, but something along the lines of it won't be forgotten and it will be dealt with. Couple that with the few guys missing from the morning skate and not having confirmation of who's playing tonight as of yet, I am hopeful that Sheldon Keefe does the right thing, puts Big Mac out there, and we see our pound of flesh, and Curtis McDermott goes out there and handles his business. I feel like we haven't seen him in forever. I love Curtis McDermott. You know, your boy Ace, heavier, edgier, more violent. Love the throwback game. Love the fisticuffs. And this is a situation where it is so desperately needed. Poor Nate Bastian suffered a broken jaw, and it's time for McDermott to pay it back. But we're going to see fireworks tonight. Calgary desperately needing points as well, as they're currently 2 points out of the second wild card spot with a game in hand on the Canucks. And so if they win their game in hand, they're tied right there with the Canucks. They are fighting for their playoff lives in a much more abysmal situation than the Devils. We're sitting pretty damn pretty right now. They're on the outside looking in, and they are looking to claw their way in. But thank you all for joining me. Shout out to those of you that might be in a car on the way home from work, whether you're watching at home on your laptop, your computer, your TV, your phone, whatever it is. Thank you for joining me. I am super pumped for the rest of the season. I am super pumped for tonight. Whenever we have multiple nights off, I get very, very anxious and can't wait for the game, the next game. And it seems like we haven't played in forever. You know, this is the home stretch, guys. This is where your New Jersey Devils need to buckle down, continue embracing playoff-style hockey, defense first, grind out those 2-1, 3-2 wins, secure our spot, and get hot into the playoffs, and hopefully take out the Canes. And we are going to see what you guys are talking about. Gem card collecting Ace, you are the man. I appreciate that, sir. Thank you very much. Trubka, what's going on? Jesse Shannon says, let's go Devils. Let's go Devils. What's going on? Vic. Yo Home says, who is going tonight? Tickets are super cheap. I am not. I'm taking a break from the Rock. I went to the last 3 home games, and I love going to the games, but sometimes it's nice to just kind of relax at home and take it all in. But I see, yeah, there's tickets as cheap as, let's see, for a pair of tickets. Yeah, tickets as cheap as $13 each. My God, that is quite cheap. Yeah, super cheap weekday special down the stretch here. Steven, seems like the Flames always get the best of us. Hopefully tonight is different. Well, they got us last time. And hopefully Markey, this could be a rebound game for Markey. I do think there is a lot riding on this game for Markey. Now, as many of you know, I am a huge Markey guy. I love Markey. I was pumped when the rumors first came up last year. I was even more pumped when we landed him. I think he's a true X factor. When he's on top of his game, he's capable of stealing games. He's capable of stealing series. And it's a guy we haven't seen the likes of in net since Corey Schneider years ago, who was backstopping a horrific Devils team to some miraculous wins that we should have never got. With that being said, coming back from the injury, he has struggled. I am also, besides being a Markey fan, I am also a fan of old school principles, and one of those being you ride the hot hand in net. Jake Allen put on a masterful performance the other night in Columbus, stopping 45 of 46 shots, including 23 saves on 24 shots in the third period alone. Jake the Snake had a full game worth of saves, essentially, in the third period where the Devils were just getting dominated, and he stole the game for us. Jake the Snake, I got to give it up. What an absolute theft of a game by Jake the Snake. Without him, we do not win that game, not even close, and we probably lose it by a couple goals at a minimum. Jake the Snake, what more can you say? I am a fan of riding the hot hand. I understand they want to get Markey going again. We don't have a lot of time to waste trying to get Markey back to his game, and so we're now, approaching the very, very home stretch of the season. After tonight, we'll only have 12 games left. And they're going to have to make a decision, obviously, heading into the playoffs, who is going to be the guy. Now, we all thought it was going to be Markey. I'm still hoping it is Markey. I do believe when Markey's at the top of his game, he is a better goaltender than Jake Allen, in my opinion. With that being said, if he cannot find that game, the guy we saw in December and January, if he does not reemerge rather soon, the Devils are going to have a tough decision to make. And I do believe in my heart of hearts, despite me absolutely being a massive fan of Jacob Markstrom, you would have to do what's in the best interest of the team and throw Jake Allen out there. I am hoping tonight is a massive, massive rebound game for our boy Markey, and we're going to find out soon enough. Doug says, let's go Devils. What's up, Doug? Collect records. Let's go Devils. Absolutely. Toes, going to the game tonight. Boys better do good. Good for you, man. Enjoy it. Max, Mark, you got to have a comeback game tonight. Understatement of the century. He needs to have one for the ages because Jake Allen is white hot and looking to steal that starting spot. And we're going to see down these last 13 games now how the hell this is going to shake out in net. Doug, Islanders always sneak their way through the regular season with those OT losses. And the Islanders still not out of it, obviously. We look at the Metro. The Islanders, I just hit something. The Islanders only 3 points out of that second wild card spot behind the Canadiens. Will the Islanders make a late surge? Mark, we have an easy schedule the rest of the way. There is no excuse. While that's true, and I would much rather have on paper the easier schedule than a hard one. 1 second. The fact is the New Jersey Devils have showed that they often play up to the competition, against the Panthers and the Hurricanes and the Capitals of the world, and play down to the competition when they're playing the likes of, the Flyers and, some of those bottom teams, San Jose. So obviously you rather have the easier schedule on paper, but I'm not taking it for granted. And a lot of these teams, especially in April, are still going to be in the wild card hunt. It's crazy. I said this probably going back a month or two ago that the final playoff spots for the wild card may not be determined until the last game of the season. There's going to be super crucial games for the New Jersey Devils well into April. And I look at the April schedule and I'm like, oh my God, any team that remotely still has a pulse is going to be coming out with their best and for absolute blood. And the Devils are going to be needing to secure their spot as well. But you look after tonight, Calgary now is 2 points out. If they win tonight, they're tied for that second wild card spot. Senators on Saturday looking desperately to hang on to their number one wild card spot. And then we see Canucks, the Canucks who are in that second wild card spot. So it's just hungry team after hungry team after hungry team who all desperately need points. Despite the schedule looking easy on paper, and I understand why people, kind of get carried away and say that. The reality is these tonight, Saturday against Ottawa, Monday against the Canucks, these are all pre-playoff games for them as well. Then we look to Wednesday, the 26th, the Hawks are pretty much, have been dead forever. So fine. They could look to play spoiler. And then on the 28th and 29th and a back-to-back on the road against the Jets and the Wild, two very good teams who are first in their respective, Wild is the first wild card. Looking to hang on to that. And then the Jets are first in the Central, looking to squeak out a President's Trophy against the Capitals. So all these teams have something to play for outside of basically the Blackhawks. And again, there's guys looking for contracts. So there's always games within the game of, even if a team sucks, there's still guys going out there looking to pad their stats, playing for contracts, and all that stuff. And then the 30th, 31st is the Wild again. So you're talking about 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Our final 7 games to close out March. There's really only one game that there's not much on the line outside of individual player performance, and that's the Blackhawks. The rest of them all have something to play for. And then we get to April, and we have Rangers, Bruins, Pens, Isles, Bruins, Detroit. I mean, the Bruins, as bad as it looks for them, they're still not completely out of it either. If they go on a heater, anything can happen for them. It's super unlikely, but where are the Rangers at? Rangers right there. Bruins probably done. Penguins are done. Isles, Bruins, Red Wings. I mean, wow. Even the Red Wings are only 3 points out. It's just so crazy that you're talking about the Canadiens in the second wild card spot at 73 points. And then you have the Rangers with 72, Isles with 70, Blue Jackets with 70, Red Wings with 70. And I'll even throw in the Bruins there at 69. You have 5 teams that are all within 3 points. This is completely nuts. Max says the only game we should lose is Winnipeg. Let's be honest, Max. We could lose any game. I mean, don't be one of those people. This team has shown they're capable of losing to anyone. But on the flip side, they have also showed that they're capable of beating anyone when they're on their game. And so that is what's the most encouraging thing to me is that, granted with some of the less than stellar performances against bad teams that we shouldn't have lost to, we've also beat teams that people gave us no chance to. So it's one of those things where they got to show up every night, play 60 minutes. Hopefully we see that heavier, edgier, more violent game come out, and this team starts to develop that playoff snarl, baby. Little playoff snarl. Max, keep saying in the pregame presser, all 20 guys are game time decisions. It seems like Curtis might have a shot tonight, and I'd be very upset if he's not. The toughest man in the National needs to be out there. If we're going to get retribution on Lomberg, it's got to come from the fists of Curtis McDermott. Brendan plays, what's up? Catherine officially announced she's joining Utah. I guess that was like a not so good kept secret. Trubka, I believe that Markey just had a bad day against Pittsburgh, and it's going to be better today. He's had a couple less than stellar games before that as well, so I'm not going to call it an isolated incident. With that being said, no one's a bigger fan than Jacob Markstrom than myself, and a bigger believer in him. And when he's on top of his game, he looked like vintage Martin Brodeur out there at times. Although, Jake Allen looked like vintage Martin Brodeur the last game. But we need to see Markey get back, and what better game to do it than against his former club tonight and to avenge our earlier season loss that we took at the hands of the Flames in Calgary earlier in the season. Cape Dollar, let's go Devils and scoreboard watching tonight too. Yeah, we go to the out-of-town scoreboard. We go to the out-of-town scoreboard and we see the Sens are in action. Not as much of interest to us, but I always have interest in keeping an eye on them. Rangers, Maple Leafs, Flyers, Caps, Panthers, Blue Jackets, Canadians, Islanders should be a feisty one. Wow, that's a real big one for the Islanders. Oof. If they're not pumped up for that, they have no pulse. That is a massive, massive game for the New York Islanders. Whew. Wow. Yeah, Islanders are 3 points behind the Canadians. A win there tonight would be huge for their playoff hopes for sure. Traveling Devil, that was an embarrassing beating Bastion took. While it was happening, I was yelling for him to do something except eat fist. Yeah, he got caught early and unfortunately never recovered. It's one of those things where once you take a few big shots, you can be kind of dazed, and that's kind of what happened. He was dazed early. He never came out of it. He was pinned against the glass, and Lomborg just completely unloaded. What a shame. Vic, Big Mac should be in tonight's game. Could not agree more. Could not agree more. We need to see him out there. Hopefully Keith does the right thing. Aaron, what's up? Curtis will give him a beatdown and also score a goal tonight. Well, first, Curtis got to get in the game, which, again, I will be super disappointed in Sheldon Keefe if we do not see the toughest man in the National out there tonight. And if we do, I'm expecting fireworks. I would like to believe that Lomborg seems like a respectable guy who honors the code of warriors. And I do think if McDermott is, in fact, in the lineup and challenges Lomborg like he will, I believe Lomborg answers the bell. I really do. And I look forward to the tilt. It could be a real nice one. And I would love to see McDermott lay the smack it down. Blackatron Bastion revenge game. I'm certainly hope so. James says, I doubt 5'9" Lomborg accepts a challenge from Kermit. I think he would. I think he's one of those guys that respects the code and understands that he broke a dude's jaw. Like, you broke a guy's jaw. It's highly unlikely McDermott breaks his jaw. And so, you got to answer the bell, and sometimes you got to eat a couple punches. I could be totally wrong, but I've seen a bunch of interviews with Lomborg and seen things with him. He seems like a stand-up guy. It seems like he is a throwback warrior, and I think he will answer the bell. We will find out tonight, hopefully, if Curtis is in the game. Trubka, Noah, just find a Ranger stream. Oh, yeah, the Ranger fans coming in here. Mark, Cotter has good hands and offensive instinct. I wish he would unleash more of it. I'm a big Paul Cotter fan as well. Currently sits number 12th in the entire league in hits. Heavier, edgier, more violent, and obviously he's shown the filthy mitts. The moves that he is capable of pulling off in tight is probably second to none on the Devils. And quite frankly, he might be up there, league-wide even. We don't get to see it too often, but we saw that, was that in the Blue Jackets game when he came flying out of the box like a bat out of hell and finished on that beautiful backhand? And we've seen it in that one shootout this year. Amazing player in tight. Travelin says, Bastion will never seek revenge for that abuse, nor should he. He's outmatched there. He's outgunned and outmatched. It's time to let Curtis do the heavy lifting. That is why we paid him the money. He hasn't played in who the hell? I can't even. It may have even been in January did he even play in February with the the Four Nations break? We may not have seen him since January, which is crazy to think about, honestly. Phil says, so it's Gritsuk not coming to America? I believe we see him next season. He has a deal with the KHL. I've told people for months, I never believe those guys are coming till they're here. There's so many stipulations and things with their contracts and all of that, but I fully expect he'll be in camp, and I do think we will see him next season. It remains to be seen whether that will be a top 6 role or a bottom 6 role. I do think a lot of people are just assuming he will slot right in the top 6, and I'm here to tell you, I think that is quite lofty expectations of a guy coming from the KHL to just assume that he can assume a top 6 role on this team. While I would be flabbergasted if it happened. Obviously, we have a hole in that top 6. I'd be thrilled if he could fill in that way. But I do expect with some of the turnover we're going to have this offseason in the bottom six, that at worst case, coming out of camp, Gritsuk should be a legitimate bottom six option at worst. And like I said, if he could go into the top six and fill in there and really pull some weight, that'd be amazing. But I think no worse than a bottom six for Gritsuk. Expecting to hear a lot about him come training camp in September. Cody Skills, who will score the game-winning goal tonight if it was your pick? Oh, it's the March of Meyer, baby. I'm going to go with my man Timomeier with a backup pick of Jesper Bratt, the Brat Man. Max, it's a weekday out-of-conference special. Ticket prices will always be the cheapest when it's weekday and out-of-division conference. Fair point. Max, I don't think Gritsuk can't leave until May or something stupid. Yeah, the contracts are all wonky, and like I said, when they're here, they're here. I don't think we're going to see anything of him till training camp. M. Sharp, Markey's still working way back. We'll be ready when needed. Allen is special. And I'm hoping we're looking for a big bounce back game from Jacob Markstrom. He desperately needs it. And if he struggles tonight, it could be a problem. You know, we don't have that much time left in the season. We're running out of real estate here, as they say, fastly approaching the playoffs. And if he doesn't rebound, you know, it may have to be Jake Allen. And that is the beautiful thing about having a veteran tandem. You know, we drowned because of goaltending last year. And what do you know? This season, goaltending is our biggest strength. Markey, when he was healthy, and Jake Allen have played phenomenally all season long. Night and day comparison to last season. And then coincidentally, our goal scoring issues arose this season. But, you know, build a team from the net out, Lou Lamoriello, and we had terrible goaltending last season. And this season, it has been an absolute blessing to have Markey and Jake Allen as that tandem. And I believe without both of them, we wouldn't be where we are now. Jacob Markstrom helped us build that beautiful lead in December and January, and we had to rely heavily on Jake Allen when Markey went down. You know, I can't say, while I believe Nico Dawes is going to be a great goalie one day, and he did look spectacular in his very small sample size this season, we don't know what Dawes would have looked like if he had to carry the load that Jake Allen has this year. We really don't know. It's easy for people to say, oh, Nico Dawes, we don't know. Maybe part of his spectacular play was because it was in little small doses. We'll never know, but thankfully we had Jake Allen. He was able to save the Devils' ass on many nights and gave us a chance to win every game he played. Phil says, when we play Ottawa, let's steal Brady. If it was only that easy, man. If it was only that easy, I would love to see it. Phil, I heard Grits is thinking of staying in Russia when his contract is up. That would be super unfortunate. But again, I have been very skittish on a lot of these guys for years because it always seems like there's complications and the money, and they get tax-free money, and the government has a big hand in the league. It's all... You know, it's a whole mess. So I'm hoping we see him in training camp, but I wouldn't be shocked if we don't. Vic says Markey's fine. Just will take him some time to get back from injury form. I hope so. That's what we're all hoping. No one wants to see Markey bounce back more than I do. And I would love to see a stellar outing from him tonight and see throwback, you know, just January version of Jacob Markstrom against his old team. Richard, Markey needs to do to the Flames what former Devils goalies do to us. Would love to see it. Would love to see it. No better night than tonight. M. Sharp, dare we say defensive structure is showing itself now? Yeah, they need to embrace it a little bit more. They're buckling down, maybe not taking as many chances unnecessarily as we've seen in previous seasons. And we have a better D-core. Even with the injuries, the D-core minus Dougie and Siegenthaler is still better than the D-core we had of last season. Go figure. Ollie Pitt says, Ace, I think you say in my opinion as much as Danico. I believe he says in my estimation. Does he say I believe his go-to is in my estimation. Michael, Gritsuk's team would have to agree to a contract buyout, and then he'd have to sign. Can happen before May, but not likely. Easier after KHL season wraps up and no buyout needed. That makes sense. Paulie Walnuts just got to the game. Let's go Devils. Enjoy the game. I wish I was going, but I like watching on the couch once in a while. It's very physically and emotionally draining for me to go to a game. Phil says, if Grits doesn't sign after the season, that's a huge loss. Carolina's guy wants to come to them, and Grits isn't sure. That's why I'm skittish on drafting these guys. Max, 10 of our games are against teams in the playoff race or hunt or looking for first place. No game is going to be easy. The wild card teams are going to push hard. Exactly. Almost every team left is super hungry and has something to play for. Whether it's securing your division, winning the President's Trophy, clawing into a wild card, there's something massive on the line for all of these teams, and they're going to be playing desperate hockey, just like we saw out of Columbus the other night. They came out in that third period, and they understood the assignment. It was win this game at all costs. And without Jake Allen, they were going to win that game. They knew what was on the line. Losing to the Devils 2 games, within a week was a huge dagger to their hopes to steal our third place in the Metro spot. It really was. And they looked like a desperate team that wanted to win more than anything in that third period. Yeah, I'm Sharp. Good point. Everyone is playing hard now. Phil, no game will be very easy. Players are trying to keep their jobs. Absolutely. Trying to jockey for better opportunity going forward. Contracts for guys that are going to be free agents. Rob, what's going on? Old man Rob here. Huge win tonight, please. Won't be back in chat till Monday. My Army unit is heading to the field till Sunday evening. Wore my new custom Devils jersey today for luck. Good luck with all that, Rob. We'll talk to you when you get back. Hopefully the Devils put together some wins before then. Phil, talking here is so much better than Twitter with all the puck bunnies tweeting dumb crap. I try to get involved on X. It is painful for me. I do feel like it's I'm sure going to get flamed for this, but it just feels like a Gen Z cesspool to me. There are knowledgeable people on there as well. And so I do try to, get involved a little bit. But for the most part, it seems like there's a lot of children that started watching hockey in the past 5 years, thumping their chests over something or another. And it's just, I don't have the energy for it. It's pretty painful. Max, let me correct what I said. We should be competitive every game. I agree. Absolutely agree. Doug, go look at how many wins the Sharks have this year and then get sad that 2 of those were against the Devils. Yeah. Another thing that's kind of lingering from last season, dropping games and points to basement dwellers. We saw it last season, and we saw it again a little bit this year. Phil says, Mark, you don't want to watch Allen steal his job. Well, no goalie wants to see another goalie steal their job, but he better defend that then. The crease is, the net is in the balance. It's, in my opinion, well on its way to being stolen if Markey doesn't respond, and hopefully we see that response tonight. Destination JD, Ace, who's dropping the gloves? Dylan, Cotter, Nate again? It's definitely not going to be Nate, and it shouldn't be. Clearly, he was outmatched, and so now, a bigger brother got to step in. I could see Dilly being the guy. I'm hoping it's McDermott in the lineup, our best solution for this type of situation, and I'd love to see it. But if not McDermott, I'm looking to Dilly for sure. For sure. Phil, I hope the Sens don't make the playoffs and Brady becomes a Devil. I hate to say it. The Senators are all but in the playoffs, man. They're not going to blow it. They're hungry and they can feel it. Their fan base is fired up. Their team is fired up. And most importantly, their captain, Brady Tkachuk, is fired up. He is just a few weeks away from his first taste of NHL postseason hockey. And that's one of the teams I'm going to be the most interested in watching outside of the Devils during the playoffs. Hopefully the Devils are in there as well. But the Ottawa Senators are going to be an interesting team to watch. And I think they could be very dangerous if they're hot going into the playoffs. Xana, Devils win. I'm a big Devils fan. Very nice. Vic says Brady going nowhere. I don't think so either. They're finally relevant, competitive, going to the playoffs. That's all Brady wanted, and I think we're going to see him there for a while. Steven, Islanders are the cockroaches of the Metro every year. Yeah, they just linger around, man. They find a way with some of those overtime losses, getting loser points. They just hang around in there right now and just find a way to keep hope alive till the very end. Scott, I think Olivier is the belt right now, but Mac is a beast. Fingers crossed he draws in. I'd bet on it. Imagine having a guy like Olivier, though. 16 goals and wins almost every fight, hoping we draft that cut off. But yeah, I love Olivier. He would look absolutely phenomenal in red and black. He is a guy, the type of guy that I've always wanted on the Devils, and if you could have a couple of them, even better. But he is a complete throwback as well, and I would love him as a Devil. But I'm sure the Jackets are thrilled with him and everything that he does. And yeah, he has 3 goals in his last 2 games against the Devils. Unbelievable. Phil says Brady would love to play in NJ. I don't think it's going to happen, guys. I said I let the dream die months ago. Jeter Toker, Keefe told the guys to keep their hands in their pockets tonight. I certainly hope not. And I don't know that Paul Cotter would have said what he said in yesterday's. And if you're just joining us, I have Curtis McDermott on the thumbnail for this video because I am super hopeful that he is put out there, because for those of you that may have forgotten, Nate Bastian suffered a broken jaw in a fight with Brian Lomborg last time these teams met in Calgary. And Paul Cotter said to Amanda Stein after practice yesterday, something along the lines of, that they will not forget what happened to Bastian in that first matchup, and it will be addressed. Dems fighting words. Dems fighting words to me. I'm hoping McDermott's in this game. And again, I wanted him in that last game. We haven't seen him in forever. Would love to see him make his return to the lineup tonight and get it done against Lomborg. Would be beautiful. Phil says he'd be closer to his wife and new child. Well, his wife lives with him, I'm sure, in Ottawa, obviously. So I don't know what you're talking about. He'd be close to her parents, the in-laws. But, I made a whole video about this and got roasted relentlessly by tons of very crybaby Senators fans. I made a video outlining all the reasons why it makes all the sense in the world for the Devils to try to obtain Brady Tkachuk. His wife's family's from New Jersey. He's in New Jersey for a good portion of the summer, vacationing and hanging out. He's Tom Fitzgerald's cousin. I mean, all the things. He loves the Hughes like family, quote unquote, verbatim quote from him. I love the Hughes like family. And so when you look at all those things, it's like, how much more of an advantage could you have to try to land a guy like that? But I like I said, the Senators, I think, are relevant now, and I just think that ship has sailed. Max, other games you should keep an eye on as highly entertaining matchups. Battle of Wild Card 2. Vancouver versus St. Louis, Dallas versus Tampa Bay Lightning, Winnipeg versus Edmonton. Let me go back to this sheet here. Yeah, what a night of some big-time matchups. Wolf Rockin', what's up? Hey, Ace, unfortunately, I don't think we'll get any retribution because I doubt Keefe will play Big Mac. Keefe can be an idiot at times, scratching my head. Let's go Devils. I really, really, really hope he does. I really hope he does, but if he doesn't, then I hope it's Dylan or whoever else. Someone else got to step up. Most likely Dylan, maybe Kovacevic, but I think Dylan's a better bet there. Blackatron says I think it'll be Cotter versus Lomberg. That would be an interesting one. But again, I want to see McDermott. Metalander, Ace, things are different with Jack out. The offensive approach isn't east-west waiting to see what Jack does. There's a different clock at work with the team approach. Timo's is crashing goals. Yeah, you've seen a lot more north-south. Chip pucks in and get after it. Get in there with the aggressive forecheck, get on the wall, win board battles, and this team has needed to embrace this for quite some time. Obviously, even with Jack in the lineup, they do a lot of the east-west, as you're saying, and a lot of that speed transition game. Teams figured it out. They started shutting it down. And on many nights, it was difficult for the Devils to go to that plan B, plan C, and start, looking to get a cycle going and just to get ugly, grind goals. And now their game is comprised almost entirely of that. While we are still capable of catching teams sleeping and using our speed off the rush with jesperbratt, Nico, Timo, we're still capable of doing that, but it's not our go-to anymore. It's the bread and butter of this offense is now slowly morphing into old school Devils hockey. Dump it in and get after it. Go get the puck, win a battle, and get pucks on net. You love to see it, and this team is embracing a new identity in the post-Jack Hughes era, and it's proven to be effective. Natos, the Miss Fields mascot in the thumbnail is hilarious. Yeah, it's I didn't like it at first, but after being at the games and witnessing it, I had to get on board. Phil says I hate the cookie thing. I did at first too, but listen, there's something there. I'm gonna ride with it. As corny as it may be. There's something here, and now the players and Keefe are aware of it. I had to get on board. Vic Bastian seems to be the universal punching bag. Khalil Cotter got 2 shootouts, goals not 1. There was 2. All right, maybe my mind's a little fuzzy. I just remember the most recent one. John Fay, all I came here to say before I head over to the arena to hopefully watch us win, embrace the cookie chaos and let's go Devils. See you all during the postgame. Mrs. Fields fueling this team on the ice to wins at the Prudential Center. Get your Mrs. Fields cookies. Link in description. Load up for the playoff run. The official snack of the New Jersey Devils right now. John NJDevils45. What's up, Ace? Devils Nation. Lomborg needs the beatdown, talk shit in the locker room with the rest of the Flames after the jawbreak. Like this Devils team fight right now. Cheers. Let's go Devils. Would love to see it. Your boy Ace loves the fisticuffs. And this is not just fisticuffs for the sake of fisticuffs. We have a player who suffered a broken jaw and missed. I don't even remember how much time he missed. When he would miss like 6 weeks or something. He was out for a while. It's time to get payback. Khalil Jesperbratt needs 3 more points for a career high of 83. Yeah, you'll be seeing that soon. He is looking to also break the single-season assist record Scott Stevens set in the 93-94 season with 60. Bratter currently tied with him at 60, and his next assist will give him sole ownership of the record. Looking for that. Obviously, outside chance, but would love to see Bratter get super hot and get pushed to be the first Devil to get 100 points. That would be phenomenal. Mark says, I believe without a doubt, Jesper is a better hockey player than Jack. Jack is just flashy. I think you'll see both people. You'll see people on both sides of the fence. I do think Bratter is the more complete player. He is a little bit older than Jack, and so we have to see what Jack. Jack is still super young, guys. I mean, people still forget just because he's been in the league for 6 years now. People often forget, but he's still only 23 years old, and he's still not reached his peak. I do believe that'll come in like 2 or 3 years. Both great players, both have a little bit different styles somewhat, but they also have a lot of similarities. But in the end, I do think at this time, Bratter is the more mature, better overall player, but it's still very early in Jack's career, and his story is just beginning to be told. John, put it the toughest man in the National, and Mr. McDermott. Could not agree more. Metalander, order those Mrs. Fields now for the playoffs. Yeah, it's a must. Got to have the Fields for the playoffs. Link in description. Order your Fields. Kyle, Dawes looks good, but let's be real. We also saw Schmid look good in a short stint as well. Yeah. I'm very skittish. Listen, I love the Akira Schmid. No one sang his praises more than me. I thought there was a very good chance that he would, in fact, develop into the next future franchise goalie for the Devils. But I also was skittish heading into the 23-24 season last year with him and Vitek as the tandem because we did see complete breakdowns. And when those Connor Hellebuck rumors started to surface, I was super pumped. Myself and Steve the Maniac were texting like crazy when the rumors first came out. We were both all on board. We both love building from the net out. We're both students of the Lou Lamoriello, university. And having a guy like Hellebuck would give any team in the league a chance to win on any given night. And so I really thought that would have been a phenomenal move for the Devils. It didn't play out. He re-signed in Winnipeg. And look, what a home run for them. I mean, this guy is going to be winning Vezinas probably every other year or every year for the foreseeable future. A complete beast. Aaron, who do you think is the toughest goalie in the National in terms of fighting? I talk about in terms of fighting. That's a hard one. There's not really much of a baseline to predict that. Phil says we got Yegorov, so it's okay. I think Yegorov is going to be the future goalie for the Devils. He might have to start off as the 1B guy when he first breaks into the league, but I've seen him in person live. I've seen him on television. I've watched some games, and he looks like the real deal. I am super pumped for him. Phil, I still think Carolina trashes us in round one. I think this could be our year. Embracing a new style of hockey, playoff grind type warfare, getting hot at the right time on this little stretch going into the playoffs. I think it could be the perfect recipe to finally get some revenge on the Hurricanes. Max Markey doesn't take kindly to contact. He's pretty tough. Binnington is a little rat. Stanislav, I'd love to have Pickles and Sharon Govich back. I am all set on Sharon Govich, especially at that cap hit of what he's getting paid. He had a great year last year in his contract year, and this year he's just completely underwhelmed for that money. I'm not missing him whatsoever, if I'm being honest. Now, Coleman's a guy I always liked, and it was unfortunate when he left. But you're talking about Sharon Govich has 24 points in 59 games. He's less than he's not even a 0.5 point a game player. What does that put him on pace for? Something putrid. Here, let's just look. And people want to complain about Timo Meier's contract. My God. Yeah, Sharon Govich is on pace for a 33-point season, making $5.5 million or something. Please. John Ace, you dig in the Boyle Schneid's podcast. So I only caught the tail end of it, and I have it tabbed to get to. I think it looks promising. I haven't been able to watch it. I literally just caught the last 3 minutes when they put it on yesterday as like the premiere. But it is something I will be watching going forward for sure. I haven't. I'll maybe do a video on it after I watch the whole thing. It was pretty long. I think it was like 75 minutes. Vic, don't be so sure the Canes are a bit overrated. Plus, they don't have Natchez and Drury anymore. I think this could be the time. This could be the year where all the stars align for us to finally knock them out. Lizette, what's going on? Just logged in. Hello, all. Will Mrs. Fields win tonight? I am hoping for a big Mrs. Fields W on the scoreboard and a massive win for your New Jersey Devils on the ice. Would love to see it. Phil says, I hope we win, but they are so seasoned. Yeah, they've been there before, but it's time for us to keep growing. Vic says, Gen Z cesspool. True, very true. Yeah, it's unfortunate, but that's how I feel about it. Phil says, indeed, it is. I had to block a lot of people. Stanislav, thumbs up. I just did it. Oh, thank you for the reminder. Hit the thumbs up for your boy and for the New Jersey Devils. Don't be stingy. Max says, that reminds me, do not lose to Chicago. We cannot. That would be gutting, right? It always feels like a step forward and a couple steps backwards. Got to beat the teams you're supposed to, and obviously Chicago Blackhawks are one of them. Got to take care of business. Mason, Devils needed to play a full 60 against CBJ. Can't win games defending for the entire third. Of course, Mason, but sometimes you got to win ugly games and win games you shouldn't. I feel like there's been at least 3 to 5 games at a minimum this season that the Devils should have won, but found a way to lose. It finally was time for the shoe to be on the other foot, and we finally won a game that we should have lost. You got to get some of those, and finally it went the Devils' way. Ryan Westerfield, how about a Nason goal today? Would love to see it. Nason's been pretty quiet after starting off white hot to start the season. He's one of the guys I'm looking forward to ratcheting it up during the playoffs. Playoff Nason, playoff Cotter, playoff Timo Meier. I'm very curious to see what Jesperbratt does. We just got to get there, but I'm looking for big playoff outings from all these guys. John, I just checked the lineups and it doesn't look like he's going to play, but that's a projected lineup. Yeah, those mean nothing. Amanda Stein's handwriting is all that matters in the real world. and it seems like keeps being secretive. So I have to believe that he might be putting McDermott in. I'm going to be very disappointed if he doesn't. Let me see if Amanda put anything else up lately. We might not find out till right before the game. Yeah, nothing yet. Phil says playoff Brady is going to be fun to watch. Absolutely. His game is tailor-made for the playoffs, and it's going to be a treat for NHL fans across the globe to finally see that man in the playoffs. It's a damn shame it took him this long to get there. Gemma, can we please stop using puck money as a derogatory term to disregard all female hockey fans? I don't really use it. I think I just read a comment, but I mean, yeah, not all female hockey fans fit into that category, obviously, but a good amount of them do. And they give the other female hockey fans a bad reputation, in my opinion, just like many other groups of people do. But, you know, it is what it is. Phil, Gemma, when 90% of female fans keep posting crush posts and calling the players Pookie, what else should they be called? I mean, and that's, again, I think it's unfair to apply that to everyone. And I don't think that's what people are trying to do. But as Phil points out, like some of these people, you know, at some point you got to call a spade a spade. But I totally agree with you, Gemma. It obviously does not refer to every female fan, and I do not look at every female fan that way. But when I do see posts like Phil is talking about, you know, you got to acknowledge what you're looking at. The New York Nobody, what's going on? Sup, Ace? You feeling better about the season after stringing together a few wins? Well, that combined with some out-of-town help, but 2 of the wins recently were against the Blue Jackets, who were directly chasing us. Yeah, we're obviously in a much better position now, and the team is starting to show some promise, so I am feeling much better, obviously. The lingering pain of the deadline days is starting to, you know, my thoughts on it overall will never subside or change, but the sting of it is starting to dissipate a little bit because of the recent success. Phil says Fitz is related to Brady. Yeah, they're cousins. Wouldn't have to pitch that hard, you would think. But again, the Devils, I don't think, are a super easy sale to a lot of people. And you could just look at our record of the last 12 years as evidence as to why guys might be apprehensive about coming here. Cody Skills, Paul Cotter saw my jersey yesterday. Pretty chill. Very nice. Is it a Cotter jersey or just a generic? Eddie, you salty and feel worse about your season after losing a shitload of games. My buddy Goody, yo, Ace, I threw on the Calgary versus New York game the other night, hoping to see Sharon Govich score and was bored out of my mind. But watching Rasmus Anderson chirp Igor that he's not worth the money was funny. I mean, that's always fun to see. Lizette, there are several game time decisions tonight per Keefe, so maybe we will see McDermott. It's McDermott, not McDermott. McDermott, MacDermid. And yeah, I'm certainly hoping that we do see him in the game. This is one of the, in my opinion, biggest no-brainers of a game to throw McDermott out there. I mean, this one screams put Curtis McDermott in. John, NJDevils45, heavier, edgier, more violent tonight. I certainly hope so. Max says, Ovi has at least 1 year left, especially if you don't get the record this year. Phil says, once Ovi hits the record, he's never going to go 100%. I do think he would love nothing more than to get the record and then go on a deep playoff run. I mean, what a season. Max says, Ace, when the boys come to Boston, I'm going to toss a Mrs. Fields cookie to Kiefer. Nice. Hello, Devils77. What's going on? Hello, Devils fans. Ace, what's shaking, Chief? Oh, we're just sitting back, talking all types of things, New Jersey Devils hockey, and we're all collectively hoping to see the toughest man in the National tonight, Curtis McDermott, in the lineup for some retribution on Lomborg for breaking Bastian's jaw in the last matchup in Calgary. And we are also hoping to see Jacob Markstrom return to the elite goaltender that he was in December and January. It is going to be a good one. Stanislav, I'm going to the game on the 31st. Just ordered a chocolate chip cookie t-shirt. Very nice. I'm sure we're going to see tons of, you know, cookie related outfits tonight, whether it's, you know, monogram pajamas, t-shirts, full-blown costumes. I look forward to seeing that on television and online as well. We're going to see, I'm sure, tons and tons of it tonight because Cookie Mania has taken over the fan base. And today's pre-pregame live brought to you by Mrs. Fields Cookies, the official snack of Running with the Devils and your New Jersey Devils. Check out the link in the description to get your Mrs. Fields cookies. Everybody got to get some. Get your cookies. Cookie Power, Cookie Mania is here. And the New Jersey Devils and Mrs. Fields together are on quite the streak. Quite the damn streak for this combination right now. Who would have thought we'd be here? I never did. But link in the chat. Bang. Check it out. Get your Fields cookies. A lot of different kinds to choose from. Max says Jack needs to lift weights with Bratter. Needs to get thicker and stronger like Bratter. I mean, it'd be nice. I don't know if it's possible. You know, I think they have different frames, and I think Bratt's naturally a little bit thicker, but he obviously works at it. His lower body is very strong. His core and he doesn't get knocked off pucks nearly as easy as a lot of guys his size, and he has a little feistiness in him. If you guys recall from the shift play and goal of the year was that Chicago game where the Devils had like a 2.5-minute sustained cycle at the Rock against the Blackhawks. We had them pinned in their own end, and they were dying. We even got a change. And then at the end of that, Bratter runs a guy like from several feet away, runs a guy down, uses his speed to close the gap, slams a guy into the glass, takes the puck, gets it up to Pesce, and then Pesce hits a streaking Jack Hughes for what is going to be the goal of the season. I don't see how anything tops that. It would take something truly special. Vic, I was going to order some Mrs. Fields from Amazon, but keep forgetting. I just dropped the link in the chat, Vic. Check it out. Hit the link in the chat. I just put it in there. Order some Fields. Phil, I'm going to make a buffalo chicken pizza from scratch. I wish I had the energy, but I love buffalo chicken and pizza, so. John NJ Devils, Jesper stays on his skates and Jacko is cutting out. Jesper is a workout freak, needs to get Jack in the weight room. Would be nice, but it's not going to happen this summer. Definitely not going to happen this summer because he's going to be rehabbing again. BC, get McDermott versus Lomberg tonight. Bastion, stay far away. We don't need any more highlight reels of you reenacting a punching bag. Man, you guys are brutal. You guys are brutal, but it's true. I mean, listen. He got worked over thoroughly in Calgary, and it was ugly. And I think it's time to send out our best option, the toughest man in the National, Curtis McDermott. Brandon, I think Markstrom is the most consistent goalie to throw punches. Probably Markstrom is the toughest. I love Mark. He's fire, man. He's a fiery competitor. He wants to win. He doesn't like when people are in his crease. He doesn't like any of it. If you go near Jacob Markstrom as an opposing player, you're definitely running the risk of Marky, hitting you with a nice slash or, a little blocker shot or something. And I love that about Markstrom. And likewise, when he gives up a goal, he's angry. If he loses a game, he's angry. I think it was I forget what game it was when he was skating off the ice and he was like smashing. It was the last second collapse. Who the hell was that against? I forget. It's escaping me right now. But he's shown fire plenty of times, and I love that in all my players, and especially a goalie. Devil Heaven, Carolina isn't as potent as they used to be. They lost a lot of key players. Yeah, hopefully we could catch them. And even in a down year, they're a very good team, obviously, as we've seen all year. Even in a down year, they're very good. But it seems like this could be the year that we catch them slipping a little bit and we give them the nice little bounce special. Getting retribution on them would almost be as good as knocking the Rangers out. Devils 25. Hey, Ace, have you tried Bot Stevens on Theta Edge Cloud? Devils 25. I don't even know what the hell you're talking about. Enlighten me. First of all, what is Theta Edge Cloud? And what is Bot Stevens? M Sharp, did anyone see rowdy Oilers fans of the Rock a few games ago? Had 3 Oilers girls kicked out for harassing a kid from the wrong seats last game. I did not hear about that. Stanislav, I love Timo. It's always Timo time on this channel. I always love Timo Meier. It's always Timo time in this studio. I'm always rooting for him. And hopefully he continues the march of Meier tonight and into the playoffs. NRC Films, are the Flames winning tonight? I absolutely hope not. I'm hoping it is Jacob Markstrom and the New Jersey Devils prevailing at the Rock for 2 massive points. Vic, Jack Hughes is a real first-round pick, not like Alexa from that other team. Thanks to the Ranger fan about Lafreniere. Yo, Holmes, what's up? Schmid this season in the AHL 7-18-3 with a 3.73 goals against. Oof. Yeah, them's looking like you might be on your way to the ECHL or overseas kind of numbers. In fairness, I don't know anything about the Silver Knights, the team he plays on. They could be a total disaster. And so, that might not tell the whole story, but either way, not very encouraging stats in the AHL from a guy that was once a New Jersey Devils starting hopeful. Devil Heaven 77, we can't complain about all Devils ex-player misfits. We got to keep going forward. I agree. The only one that I will be angry about for a while is that Tom Fitzgerald did not see the need, or whatever you want to call it, to bring back Fabian Zetterlund for a second-round pick. I think that was a crime. Not bringing back Zetterlund for a second-round pick, that seems like a no-brainer in my book. He probably, at worst case, he would have been a massive upgrade in the bottom 6, and at best case would have been a guy that you could try out in the top 6. Vic, yo, Holmes, yikes, those are rough stats. Wish Shakir the best, though. Hope he finds his game. Listen, no matter what happens, again, I've said this time and time again, and I'll say it again. Akira Schmid will forever be a New Jersey Devils legend in my book because he came into a series on the road in hostile territory at Madison Square Garden, down 2-0 to the Rangers when it's looking like we were going to get swept. He wins 2 games in the Garden. The importance of this man changing that whole series around cannot be understated. Down 2-0, goes into the Garden, wins games 3 and 4, ties up the series, stuns the hockey world, comes back to the Rock, wins game 5, puts all the pressure back on the Rangers. They do get the dub in game 6 back at the Garden. Then he comes back in game 7 and pitches a game 7 shutout to secure the series and eliminate the Rangers. Akira Schmid, forever a legend in my book. No matter what happens going forward, I wish nothing for the best of him outside of obviously if he ever plays the Devils again. But what a little run for Akira Schmid. Max, Finding Nemo won't ever be found in NJ. Send him to the Canucks for Quinn somehow. I don't know why. This is one I disagree with. I don't mind if we get Quinn Hughes in free agency. I'd never want to give up assets for him. There is no need to. He's a free agent, I think, in 2 more years. If he wants to come here, he will. There's no need to give up a ton of trade pieces to get him here. Just wait a couple more years, and we get him for nothing outside of money. M. Sharp, then a guy 2 seats to the side of me croaking oil like every 5 seconds during the game. When Devils scored to tie the game, everyone turned and pointed, "You suck" at him. Next goal, too. Priceless. There was a lot of Oilers fans at that game. M. Sharp says, I'm in on cookies. Hit the link in the chat. Go order some cookies. Yo, Holmes, yeah, man. Schmid beat the Rangers, so he's forever cool by me. Absolutely. Aaron, does Keefe's playoff record concern you going into the playoffs? No. While I do think coaches have a lot to do with a game, in the end, it's up to the players. I do think his core was very flawed in Toronto. Now, can he get over the hump here? I hope so. What a story it would be for us to, secure this playoff berth, get to the playoffs, knock out the Hurricanes, and then see what else could happen. But that would be massive for both Sheldon Keefe and the guys on this team. Max, Amanda did post the Flame starting lineups. Wolf versus Markey. Yeah, I saw that. Devil Heaven, did we ever find out if Nicole is single? She's happily married, my man. And I think she even pointed out that her husband is in her profile picture. Max, former Devils in the lineup. Pickles, Sharon Govich, Kevin Rooney, Baller. That's quite a cast. Quite a cast of former Devils, and hopefully none of them could scorch us tonight. M. Sharp, I called Dylan to level a massive hit early in the playoffs to make players have to be aware. Would love to see it. Devil Heaven, hey, Ace, did you dig up that Lowell Devils jersey? No, it's not in my house. I do have it. The next time I go visit the vault, I'll maybe pluck a couple more to do a little show and tell, but I know exactly where it is. It's just not at my house. New York, nobody. Do playoff goals not count towards Ovi's record? No, they do not. They are regular season goals only. Vic, just check. Keefe said Palat, Tatar, and Laser are all game-time decisions. Good chance Big Mac is in tonight. That's what it smells like to me. When 3 guys like that are all questionable and they don't know, it seems like, and I hope it's not the ultimate tease, but that all roads indicate with that piece of information coupled with the quotes from Paul Cotter yesterday after practice, it seems like it could be setting the table for Big Mac to make his triumphant return to the lineup and hopefully smash Lomborg's face in. Yo, Holmes says, who is Pickles? That is Blake Coleman. Devil Heaven, I watched Mac's father, Paul, growing up for the Binghamton Whalers, mid-'80s, awesome time AHL. That's very cool. Very, very cool. Dean Smith, Claude Lemieux, number 9 on playoff goals scored, should be in the Hockey Hall of Fame. I love Claude. I just don't think the rest of his resume is strong enough to get him in, but I am a huge Claude Lemieux guy. You see him right over my head here with the 1995 Conn Smythe Trophy after the Devils won the Cup as the most valuable player in the playoffs. And then he came back in 2000 and we won it again. I mean, what a legend. Love me some Claude Lemieux. One of my favorite players of all time. My buddy Goody, another NJ personalities. Feel like Ovi might check out during the playoffs like last postseason. I guess we'll see. I hope he breaks the record, but not much else. Screw the Caps. I don't align with that narrative. I think that if nothing else, it's possible, obviously, but I do think the goal record may just fuel him even further. We will find out. And not to mention that Capitals team last season was just never in it. I mean, they got thoroughly dominated. I don't think that will happen with this year's team. Rob, love the Mrs. Fields vid. It feels like a nice moment in Devils history to record. Good call, Ace. Thanks, man. I just feel like a lot of people that aren't in the area or don't go to games, they kind of had a rough idea what was going on, but no one actually took the time to lay it all out sequentially. And so I was like, you know what? I know a lot of you guys that watch my stuff on the channel are from, other states and some of you even other countries. And so I don't know, how much of it you really understood. So I was like, let me just go play by play here with what this phenomenon is so you could fully appreciate and kind of understand what the quote unquote people on the inside know about it. And so, thanks for watching. I appreciate that. Max, Gretzky has an additional 122 goals in the playoffs that doesn't count to the record. What a beast. What a beast. Max says first upset in the March Madness for Meier. Would love to see some goals. Would love to see Meier put some in tonight. Phil says not everyone took a drug to lose weight. Wolf Rockin', even if Big Mac plays tonight, I think Lomborg will shy away from him. I guess we'll see, my friend. Heavier, edgier, more violent. I think, again, I could be wrong, but if Mac is in there and he issues the challenge, I think Lomborg will answer the bell. M. Sharp, did you know Chico Resch played for the New Haven Nighthawks on the way up? I don't know if I knew that, actually. What league is that in? Devil Heaven, hey, Ace, what does Dirty Devil run for that bottle? It's very cheap. I'll put the link in the description. I think, let me see what you could actually order it online if you're in the U.S. Yeah, it's $20 for one bottle or $40 for two. I'll put the link in the description for that as well. I just put the link. You could order it, or you could also kick around on their website. And if you'd rather just go pick it up at a store, you could use their store locator to see if there is a team near you, a store near you, rather, that carries it. Melissa, is Bratter cracking 100? I mean, listen, statistically, it's going to take a miracle. I hope he does it. I think he gets close. But it's just asking for a lot. He has to average like 1.5 points per game down the stretch, maybe slightly more now. Let me see. Yeah, he's at 80 with 13 games left. So you're talking about he needs 20 and 13. He needs a little more, like 1.54 points a game. It's definitely possible, but it's going to, he's already been super hot as of late to even get him to that point. He had 3 consecutive games of 3 points. And so that kind of ratcheted up the production. But you never know. With empty nets and just, I would love to see it. But statistically, I would say it's not probable. But it's definitely not impossible. Phil says, I say he gets 92. I think he finishes more with like 96. Max, Bratter will fall just short unless we absolutely murder someone on the scoreboard. And again, if we could explode for 8 games where he has a 4-point night or something, definitely possible. Scott, Bastian and Lomborg go tonight. Bastian is tougher than people give him credit for. Dude broke his jaw at the beginning of the fight. Anyone could get caught. He's not an elite fighter, but on Lomborg's level. They're definitely not fighting tonight. It'd be crazy. I think it'd be ridiculous for Bastian to even try. Someone else got to step up. BC says, Rempe's contract is up this season. Does Fitz try to sign him if McD is not brought back? McDermott's under contract for 2 more years after this one. He signed a 3-year deal last offseason. So McDermott's not going anywhere anytime soon. I don't think that we have any interest in Matt Rempe, personally. Melissa says, I hope he cracks 100. So do I. Brendan plays today's struggle meal: pasta from a box with marinara, some chicken I grilled, mozz, parm, and basil. Okay. Not too bad. Max, fair point on free agency for Quinn. Yeah, just wait till he could sign here and we don't have to waste anything on him. Select the boy. What's up, Devils, folks? What's up, Ace? What's up with you? Aaron, no better feeling than mocking the Rangers' goal after Game 7 of the 2023 playoffs. Oh, man. That's one of my I'm going to find that one. One of my favorite videos, super early on in the channel, before I ever even made videos that I was in. At this point of the channel, I was just putting up playoff videos of stuff like this and at the game. But if you haven't seen it, check it out. I just dropped the link for that in the chat as well, of all the Devils fans celebrating the streets outside of Prudential Center after we just eliminated the Rangers in Game 7. One of my all-time favorite moments of recent vintage. Lure Kanye, you think Big Mac's going to be in the lineup? I'm hoping so. I think there's a very good chance, given that Sheldon Keefe did not reveal his lineup yet and said there was several guys that were game time decisions. I think it's time that McDermott is deployed tonight. Mark, reminder to all that Keefe has never missed the playoffs his entire coaching career. That is a phenomenal stat for him, for sure, at every level. I believe that includes juniors, as well as his time with the Marlies in the AHL, and then obviously the Toronto Maple Leafs before he came here. Brandon, I think Quinn is coming here on his free agency. I'd be pretty shocked if he doesn't. I think there's a good chance. Very good chance. He's definitely going to at least explore it. Select the Boy says redemption for Markey. I would love to see Markey return to that A+ level we saw in December and January. Devil Dog 7, Dougie's OT goal and Schmid will forever live in our team's lore against that dopey franchise. They lost to a raw USHL goaltender. Indeed, they did. Indeed, they did. Brendan plays, please do a Jake Allen video like the Bratt video. He's having a tremendous season. I thought about doing one on him. I might do it. Just a lot of this stuff takes way more than you guys, way more than I'd ever want to admit and way more time than you'd ever imagine. But it did come across my brainwaves as something that might be worth doing. Phil, all right, I got to get going to prep for the game. Let's go, Devils. Let's go, Phil. Devil, we're playing like a family again. Gelling chemistry. Love it. Yeah, this is the time to do it. Come together at the right time heading into the playoffs. And would love to see it. Melissa, what are the chances Dougie gets traded this coming offseason? I don't think very good. I think they still want him as part of the team. And listen, he brings a lot. I tell people constantly, everyone talks about trading Dougie Hamilton, but I think at some juncture after he's gone, whenever that is, whether it's he's dealt before the end of his deal or he moves on in free agency, however it plays out, I do think a lot of people are going to be like, damn, I wish we had Dougie still. Because he just generates a tremendous amount of offense for the Devils, and he's damn good. But and coming off the injury, I just think it'll be tough for the Devils to move him this offseason. Now, could it be explored either, during the season next year or mid-season or after the season? I think so. But I don't think it could happen this summer. I think people are going to, other GMs are going to want to see him return from this injury. See him return from the injury before they make a deal for him. Dialamo, Meyer trick, please. Oh, a Timo hat trick. I don't know if I'd be able to handle it. I would probably go into cardiac arrest. BC, is the game on MSG or only ESPN Plus? So sick of these shitty ESPN games. Let's see. It says MSG SN2. MSG SN2. So it's on one of the MSG channels. Vic, the amount of fights Lombard gets into and headshots he takes, I'd imagine he'll be dealing with long-term health issues. I don't know. I think it's just kind of a weird thing. You never know. Like, some guys have shown the signs of it over the years, and then there's other guys like Kenny Danico took plenty of shots in the head over his career, and he seems perfectly fine. And knock on wood, hopefully he stays that way. But I think you would have already seen the signs of it if it was going to affect him. And there's guys that played way less of a career than him that probably didn't take nearly the amount of damage who show way worse signs of it. And so it's one of those things where I don't think everything affects everyone the same way. Max, it says MSG SN2. All games are on ESPN Plus, but depends if you're in the market due to blackout or no. Yo, Holmes, if we don't win the cup, I'll be rooting for the Capitals. Hopefully the Flasher girl will be back again. Who's the Flasher girl? I'm not aware of the Flasher girl. I only know about the Flasher girl from the Oilers. Yeah, SST claims this person is not him. I don't know. Slurp says, what booze pairs well with Mrs. Fields cookies? Absinthe, perhaps. Probably like Kahlua. Kahlua and Bailey's would probably be like the go-tos off the top of my head. Clayton, I believe this team is going to do something these playoffs, regardless of the greed at the deadline. These boys of ours have a bond that we haven't seen in a long time. Missing Jack Flash, though. I agree, Clayton. I think despite, what I would still consider a failure on deadline day, this team seems to be embracing that old school Devils hockey, grinding out these victories, playing a new style game. And I do think they can make some waves in the playoffs. Call me crazy, but with a very hot Jake Allen or Jacob Markstrom, I do believe the sky's the limit, and I think they're going to surprise some people. Now, we just got to make sure we get there first, lock down the spot, finish the season strong, try to play consistent 60-minute outings, and I do think it could be a very special year. Metalander, like to see Glass taking faceoffs on the bottom six. I guess it's 57%, 57% from the dot. Max, Screwball probably ain't bad with the cookie either. That's true. That's that peanut butter whiskey. BC, Screwball is great mixed in a blender with vanilla ice cream. That's an interesting one. Mark, if Vancouver knows Quinn is leaving for NJ, which isn't a dumb thing to think, it's possible a trade will be made, but for a lot less than people think. Vancouver recouping at least some assets. Yeah, but here's the thing. It's not going to be any secret to the Devils if he does indeed want to come here, obviously. And so if that's the case, say, we're not trading you anything. Trade him somewhere else, and he's not going to re-sign there. Their hands are kind of tied here. If Quinn wants to come to the Devils, nobody could stop it once he becomes a free agent. Max, hear me out. Mrs. Fields cookie, vanilla ice cream, Screwball blender sounds like a great mudslide combo. Oh, boy. You may have just inspired, In the Kitchen with Ace. Maybe that might be a new episode. In the Kitchen with Ace. Devil Heaven Ace, what is your local network channel for the Devils? It's MSG, but I get it through Fubo, and it's so delayed, which is why a lot of the times I don't respond too much in the, a lot of people are in the post-game chat all game long talking about the game. And a lot of times I'm not in there because the damn feed seems like it's like 45 seconds to a minute behind now. And people are like, oh my God, goal. Like way before I see it. And I don't like that. And so it's unfortunate the feeds are so damn delayed. Slurp says that's it. I'm getting my blender out. That's what I thought, Max. Flasher girl is the Oilers girl. That's what I thought. And I'll be rooting, forget the Flasher girl. I'll be rooting for the Oilers for my man, Adam Henrique. And I obviously like McDavid as well. I'd like to see him get a cup before it's all said and done. Vic, oh yeah, forgot when the Caps won the cup in VGK, this chick was flashing her chest at the players. I vaguely remember that too. Yo, Holmes, I got Devil Heaven, couple of vodka and gingers for the game recipe. 21 vodka smooth out of Rochester, New York. Very nice. Melissa, oh yeah, Jack is definitely missed, but the rest of the team are dogs too, and Glass has definitely surprised me. Yeah, listen, I have nothing against Glass. I think he's going to be a great bottom six guy for this team, and I think we're going to sign him in the summer, and he could be a nice piece for this team for, 2-3 years, whatever it is going forward. With that being said, I just call the deadline day a failure because I think with Glass as your kind of co-main event, it would have been great if we got like O'Reilly and Glass or McCann and Glass or any more, a slightly more impact player with Glass as the second guy. It would have been a success, but the top headliner never came. And I'm not saying it had to be Rantanen. I mean, I still think it's ridiculous that Fitzgerald even reached out on Rantanen, to be honest. I'm glad it didn't work out. I had no interest in Rantanen at that kind of money. God knows what we would have had to trade to get him. I think we averted a disaster there, quite frankly. Luckily, the Stars bailed us out of potentially landing Rantanen because I think that would have been a huge mistake. But, I thought more had to be done. And imagine this team right now, if we did get a guy like a McCann or an O'Reilly or something of that nature, I believe the team would be even better than we've looked as of recent. Collect records. I have Fubo, and I'm at least 20 seconds behind my group chat. I think it's more than 20 seconds, and it's super annoying. I cut the cord a few years ago, and I have everything on all these it seems like now I have like 50 streaming services. It's obnoxious. You got Netflix and Fubo and YouTube TV and the Paramount and the Max and the this one and the Hulu. There's like 10 million friggin' things. It's unbelievable. At this point, I think there's going to be a new movement of like, it was cut the cord. Maybe the new one's going to be sever the stream and then go back to regular cable where it might be cheaper now to get all the shit, even on the most expensive cable package, because you need 27,000 different platforms to watch everything. And Disney Plus and this one and Peacock. Like I look at my thing, I'm overwhelmed. I'm like, what the hell is this? I thought the streaming world was supposed to be better. I'm starting a new movement, guys. Sever the stream. I'm going back to digital, whatever you want to call it. I'm bringing back the cord, regular cable, and I'll at least be watching the games in real time and not behind everybody. Brendan plays Running with the Devils, make some smoothies. I like to go with mango sorbet. I don't even know what the hell Kalansi is. Mango, banana, peaches, juice, raspberries, and if you'd like to drink, something fun in there. Samuel says, we'll take scotch with my scotch. Cookie on the plate on the side. I'm not mad at that at all either, Samuel. Nice little cookie on the side. Devil Heaven said, I heard that Fubo is sketchy. I don't know if it's sketchy. It's just super delayed. McCurdle, team has been on a total upswing. Remember, they were playing very mediocre hockey prior to all the injuries. That's true. Yo, Holmes, when the Capitals were skating the cup around, a girl in the front row flashed the girls to the players. Legendary. Okay, I do vaguely remember that. Devil Heaven Ace, what's your most priceless Devils memorabilia? It's a hard one. That's a very hard one for me. I've been fortunate to be able to obtain some really cool monumental stuff. And I think it would have to be something tied to it, like from a cup winning game. I have several things that were from a cup winning game. And so those are obviously the most important. I would say a piece of memorabilia from a Stanley Cup winning game would be my favorite. Brendan, my other go-to is raspberries, bananas, strawberries, peaches, mint, lime juice, and raspberry sorbet. Brendan, do you have like an entire produce? I guess it's not that many things, but that's a lot of damn fruits to have on hand at one time. But I guess if you're doing this regularly, then you have quite the fruit selection in your fridge or whatever the hell you store it in. Max Samuel, the cap is projected to go up so much by then. That is true as well. But then at that point, what is Quinn looking for? $15 million? I mean, it's going to be crazy. Devil Heaven Spectrum cable is good. Centerized package is only $67 per season. That seems pretty damn good. Michael S. DirecTV stream is pretty close to where I live. Melissa, that is one hell of a setup you have there. Michael, DirecTV also carries TNT, which Fubo does not. Yeah, I think I get TNT. I'm not sure what I get that on. Yeah, there's so many things. It might be YouTube TV. I can't keep track anymore. There's so many damn things. Devil Heaven, where do you get all your Devils memorabilia? I've been collecting Devils memorabilia pretty seriously for about 25 years. I mean, I guess to some extent 30 years, but I started getting more substantial stuff probably 25 years ago, and it's just been, over time from other collectors and auction houses and just pretty much all over the place. Lots of different places. Keeping Up the Devil says, dude puts the whole market in his smoothie. Brendan, my go-to Devils meal is whatever I could cook up in the blender, juicer, and barbecue poolside if we hit the playoffs. Otherwise, I keep the drink and go with some good NJ Italian or fresh baked focaccia. Oof, I love focaccia. One of my favorite, probably my absolute favorite focaccia probably is from Carmine's. Carmine's has a bunch of locations. They have a few in New York City. There's one in Atlantic City. They might have some others. But I was just there last week, and the focaccia is absolutely phenomenal. One of my favorites. I always ask for extra bread. The bread is delicious. The focaccia is very good, and the regular bread is good, and I house it. But if you've never been to Carmine's and you're near New York City, check it out. Family style Italian restaurant. Very reasonable price considering how big the portions are, and it's pretty damn good. Wolf Rock and Ace, I got the Gotham Sports Network to watch the Devils games, but every time they're on ESPN, it's not on Gotham. Ridiculous, brother. Yeah, I've heard nothing but horror stories about the Gotham app. Luckily, I am on the outside of that. Devil Heaven, I have a nice collection since '86. Nice variety, very nice. What do you mainly collect, Devil Heaven? Max, if we are right to the cap and can only afford $10 million, don't you think Quinn would take a discount to play with the bros? Max, here's the thing, right? Everyone wants to be like, oh, he's going to take this discount to play with his brothers. Let's just say their true market value of him is $14 million at that point, right? And let's just say, let me see, how old is he right now? He's 25. He's got 2 more years on his deal, so he'll be 27. Yeah, man. You're talking about an 8-year deal he's going to want probably. No way. If the market value is 14, he's not signing for 10 just to play with his brothers. You're talking about $4 million a year times 8 years. Do you think he's going to take a $32 million discount to play with his brother? His brothers, rather? I don't think so. Now, if you're talking $1 million a year, maybe. And that's still a shitload of money to leave on the table just for the privilege of playing with your brothers. And listen, I have a brother. I think if we were both professional athletes, it would be awesome to play on the same team. But with that being said, if you're talking about a monumental difference of money, it'd be like, sorry, brother, we got cash. I'll see you when I see you. We could afford private jets and shit. $32 million over 8 years would be an insane amount of money to leave on the table just to play with his brothers. Rapid Blue is the new black. The Arnott game-winning goal photo, did you obtain that in person? I can't find it autographed anywhere. I did obtain that in person. You probably won't find it anywhere. I did get it in person when I met Jason Arnott years and years ago. Yeah. Michael S., hit the like for your boy. Thanks. I forgot. Hit the thumbs up. Don't be stingy. Samuel, I was paying $350 a year for center ice in Florida. Wow. Vic, heading out, getting ready to watch the game. See you guys later, Vic. Keeping up the Devils' opinion on Markey starting. Listen, I'm always a fan of riding the hot hand. This one, I see both sides of it. It's a tough. I thought this was going to be a tough call, but I did say I suspected Markey to play just because primarily the biggest kind of driving factor, which I thought was him playing his old team. But you do want to see where he's at. And it's like, again, we're running out of time. And so they got to figure out very soon, where is he really at with his game so they know how to proceed going forward. And so I thought this one was a logical start for him. And we're gonna find out a lot tonight. It's a very big one for Jacob Markstrom. Devil Heaven, I've been fired up for some chicken marsala salad bread. That sounds pretty good. Brendan, my mom makes fantastic focaccia. I love it. When I have extra, I make sandwiches on it. Oof. Grilled chicken, roasted peppers, roasted tomatoes, fresh mozz, basil, pesto. That sounds absolutely delicious. Marks, it seems like Philly is a dangerous place for marriages. Oh, you guys are talking about the Brenda Moore Lindros thing. Mark, the players union will be furious with Quinn if he took less than 14. I agree. And that's why I think a lot of the stuff, a lot of the chatter is like, I do think he wants to be here, but there's a lot of money and business behind all of it. And it might be hard for the Devils to juggle, but who knows? Devil Guy 2003. Ace, did you get some of your memorabilia from the legendary equipment sales at the rink? Yes, I did. What a time to be alive. I went to them back at the bubble at the old arena, as well as the first couple they did at Prudential. And those were like calling it the Super Bowl wouldn't even do it justice, because the Super Bowl is once a year. These weren't every year. They were everything for me. There was nothing better than that. To go to the to go there and rummage for stuff. And I definitely got some really cool shit there over the years. Devil have an ace variety of bobbleheads, all 3 Stanley Cup bobbles, hats, banners. I have some signed playoff stuff. Keep cranking. Yeah, I got tons, man. My real dream, I think I've mentioned this briefly, not in like detail, but my real dream is to one day, I mean, once I'm in I'm not in my long-term residence at the moment. I'm hoping that happens fairly soon as well. But I would love to make like a New Jersey Devils historical museum that people could come and see some truly historical shit, which I have, whether it's game-worn jerseys, game-used sticks, gloves, helmets, different other artifacts, programs, tickets, just all types of New Jersey Devils history, all crammed in one beautiful sanctuary for Devils fans to come and see. Keeping up with the Devils with the same logic, would you put Markey in versus Vancouver? The next game? Or are you talking about after Ottawa? I can't answer any questions about anything other than tonight because I have to see how Markstrom plays. If Markstrom looks completely lost, I mean, then you have some tough decisions to figure out. Assuming he plays great, then then it's just kind of back to figuring it out. What your starting schedule is going to be with the goalies. M Sharp, ESPN drops my feed 6 times a game. Torture. That is pretty brutal. Jay Snow, that's got to be a get-right game for Mark. I think Calgary is literally one of the worst scoring teams in the league. Hopefully he stands on his head tonight and looks phenomenal. Devil Heaven says he's getting hungry. Wolf Rock, and enjoy the game, Ace. See you on the post game tonight. Got to get ready for the game. Peace, my friend. Let's go Devils. Let's go Devils. Mark, happened to me too, starts using Apple TV, and ESPN was flawless. David, every Devil fan should check out Hobby's Deli, home of the King Hendricks meatball soup, only served in bowls, no cups. I haven't been there since the fire, though. I love Hobby's Deli. The unfortunate thing with them is they're not open late anymore. They're only open, I think, was like for a handful of. They were going to stay open like for the game crowd, like on a handful of games. They used to be open late all the time, and now they close super early, and so they're unfortunately not eligible, or it's not a game day option anymore. Actually, now you got me curious. They announced it. Shit. It's not going to be easy to find. I thought they had a whole schedule throughout the year published for the games they were going to be open. The next one is April 5th, the Rangers game. Okay, Devils pregame at Hobbies, Saturday, April 5th. So I guess that's going to be the only one left on the season. That's an early game, though. Yeah, that's a 12:30 game. So I'm assuming they're going to be open super early. And I haven't actually made it there all year. I made it a point in my head. I said I would like to get to Hobbies before a game once this year, and it hasn't happened. Maybe that'll be the one. Tom Fitzgerald Wine Depot. Hey, Ace, how are you this weekend? I have an open slot at our roulette table. Are you down? Absolutely. Absolutely. Jesse, Ace, your museum idea would be a great way to repurpose Continental Arena. Also show younger generations where the magic happened. It wouldn't have to be anywhere near that big, and I think that's a pipe dream for something like that. I'm thinking like I have a lot of ideas, but it all requires a shitload of money, unfortunately, to pull off. Michael says, go Devils, baby. Select a boy. Hopefully the Devils give Markstrom some help. Yeah, he's going to need it. Gonna need it. Jay Snow, who's out of the lineup tonight? We don't know yet. Lazar, Tatar, and was it Palat are all game time decisions. We are hoping that we see the toughest man in the National, Curtis McDermott, get some revenge on Lomborg for breaking Bastian's jaw. Melissa, just a hypothetical, would sending Dougie to Vancouver to facilitate the Quinn move be a negative or positive? Just to clarify, I love Dougie just questioning. I just don't see the need for it because, like I said, he's a free agent in 2 years. So why give up anything to get him? Now, I could see that one making sense because if they're trying to trade Dougie anyway, it's kind of like, okay, well, you're just trying to dump his salary off. And so if it, I could see it kind of making sense to them in that regard. But we have to see. Devil Heaven, I'd love to have more jerseys, buddy. I have a Needs Cup jersey from 2000. Huge Needs fan. Very nice. Love me some Needs. How is Hobbies? Heard it's amazing. Their pastrami is to die for. Man, I'm getting hungry now, too. Shit. I thought about pastrami and Hobbies yesterday as well. I might have to go to that April 5th game just for that. Samuel, fresh mutts, chicken cutlet, salami, arugula, roasted peppers, extra virgin olive oil is a nice sandwich. Ooh, that's a nice one, too. The only way you could have made that, maybe, I like the salami, too, but I personally prefer the prosciutto over the salami, but I love them both. David, at this point, Hobbies might just be a matinee experience. Yeah, pretty much. Definitely seems that way. Devil Heaven, we got to get Marky ripping again. Tonight's his chance. Jay Snow, Big Mac versus Lamborghini. Oh, I want to see it. Jay Snow says, I don't know if Keith will let us see it. Well, if he puts the Big Mac in the lineup. I think we're going to see it. Jesse, Ace, did you see the article about Fitzy pushing the league to have cut-resistant gear and that it'll become mandatory for the Devils because his son's neck getting sliced? Let's go Devils. I did see something about that, and I think there's probably something in the... There's probably something in the CBA that he might not even be able to do that. I didn't care enough to even go look into it, really, but he might not even be able to do that. And I do think it's probably an overreaction. Like, you know, it should be up to the players. I understand where his mind and heart is at with it, like, oh, to protect them, but like, this isn't a real issue, man. How many people are really getting cut? Like, I don't know. I just feel like it's slightly, it's a slight overcorrection in my opinion. Stanislav, 35 minutes until Let's Go Devils. Fitzgerald, I told our Lord and Savior Keefe to put in McD. Evan Spitzberg, what's going on? Sup, Ace? Yeah, man. Wrapping up here, but the Devils with a massive one. Jacob Markstrom back in between the pipes for your New Jersey Devils. And we need another big win. Another big win for the Devils. Hopefully we see another big win for Mrs. Fields on the board, and hopefully it translates into another big win for the New Jersey Devils on the ice. We've been enjoying a nice streak with the Fields at home. Lots to be excited about, and looking to really now close in these last 13 games to really try to put a stranglehold on that third spot in the Metro. Some teams still on our heels, you know, not as close. We built up a little bit more of a distance, but you know, nothing's concrete until it's concrete. I'm not counting my chickens before they hatch, as they say. Hoping we lock that up sooner than later. Buy your Fields cookies. Link in description. Hit the description and support Mrs. Fields. Get your official playoff run and playoff snack for the New Jersey Devils. They got some delicious options there. Jason, I saw an interview with Keith on the Lomborg thing. He seemed to brush it off. I don't know if he puts Big Mac in. If not, wouldn't Bastian get dummied again? I don't think Lomborg would go after him again, but Dylan should. It'd be a damn shame. I will be very upset. It seems like Keith doesn't like the rough stuff, but he has to realize a guy got his jaw broken. Like, it's time to get our pound of flesh. You got to put him out there. And if not, hopefully Dylan does it. Michael, take care. I'll catch you on the post game. Devil Heaven, hey, Ace, how long before YouTube pays you for this? You're killing it, brother. My channel's been monetized for a while. It's a very marginal amount of money. All in all, I've spent exponentially more, multiple times more, what my channel has ever made in costs, you know, whatever you want to attribute to cost, but equipment and traveling and all this stuff. And so to really make true money online, you need to be like a massive, you have to have a massive following, you know, and the New Jersey Devils, you know, don't, and that's fine. You know, this is a hobby for me. I do enjoy it. And yeah, we'll see where this continues on, but it's just a fun hobby. You get to do some cool stuff that I'd always wanted to do as a kid. And I appreciate you all for watching and participating in the lives and all of that stuff. And hopefully I'm able to do some cooler shit, you know, as the channel progresses and time goes on. Jesse Shannon, come on, Marky, get us the big dub. Let's go Devils. Regardless, it's going to be like a playoff game for both teams. Completely agree with you, Jay Snow. Seth, hi, Ace. How are you, bro? I'm doing good, man. About to cut out of here and watch the pregame. Devil, I've been running with the Devil's best podcast. The other podcast, no, I appreciate that, man. But, you know, there's some other people doing stuff, too. Not everything's for everybody. People like different stuff. Everyone kind of has their own angle on things. I appreciate the support from whoever enjoys watching my stuff. Metalander, clever move by Keith to withhold lineup changes, if nothing else, to edge some Calgary nerves. I mean, I think that's kind of overplaying your hand, like a little too much gamesmanship. But we'll see. Jay Snow, I don't think we could lose Dylan on the ice with our decor. Keith might tell him no. That's my biggest fear. That is my biggest fear. Alex, hopefully you enjoy doing it. I certainly have fun chatting with the other fans. Yeah, no, I do like it. That's why, you know, I never planned on doing this. It started with just doing videos at games, and I was never in any of the videos, and it was just videos at games and reactions of fans in the stands and shit like that, and it kind of evolved into what it is now, and it's pretty cool. I've been able to interview players and do some other cool stuff, and so hopefully looking to do a lot more of that as well. Jeter Toker says, you mean to tell me my $5 super chats haven't retired? You mean? No, unfortunately I haven't, but I appreciate the super chats nonetheless. But no, unfortunately I'm not. It doesn't look like a retirement plan for me. All right. That's it. That's it, guys. Hit the thumbs up for your boy on the way out. Buy your Fields cookies. I'll drop the link one more time. Buy your Fields cookies, support the team, support Fields. And I'll be back after the game. Hopefully we see some retribution. Hopefully Marky gets it back. We need a big Devils win. That's it. Like, comment, subscribe, and all that jazz. Until next time, friends, let's go Devils.